The writing is on the wall, not just in prophecy, but in courtrooms. From Europe to America, Jehovah's Witnesses are being judged, not by God's Spirit, but by governments, lawyers, and survivors who will no longer be silenced. In Daniel chapter 5, King Belshazzar throws a lavish feast while ignoring justice. But in the middle of his celebration, a mysterious hand appears and writes 4 words on the wall: Mene Tekel Paris. Mene saying that God has numbered your days, and Tekel, you have been weighed and found lacking. And Paris, your kingdom will be divided and given to others. Well, that very night, Babylon fell. In 2024, Denmark's government opened an investigation into Jehovah's Witnesses. Why? Because elders were handling cases of rape, domestic violence, and child abuse inside secret backroom committees. No police, no therapists, just 3 men with religious titles deciding on your fate. And Minister Morten Dallin launched a formal inquiry, citing concerns that these meetings may violate Danish laws against psychological violence. And they're not the first country to act. From Norway to the US, from Australia to the Czech Republic, it's the same process. 3 elders, 1 victim, silence. The governing body claims they're just a publishing company. But why are these committees following the same script in every nation? Who trains them? Who gives them the rules? And why are the victims punished while abusers are protected? Now, law firms like Sako Love are stepping in to help survivors, especially ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. They're shining a light on Watchtower's hidden database of known abusers, on the elders who handled rape in secret, on the decades of silenced victims, shunned for speaking out. And they're saying what no one dared to say before. This isn't religion. It's an institution that protects predators and punishes the truth tellers. Okay, this is Sako Love Law. I just want to take a minute and go over this. Jehovah's Witnesses, a sexual abuse lawsuit. Many survivors of sexual abuse by members of Jehovah's Witnesses claim that church leaders protect abusers and allow the harm to continue for decades. Those affected may be able to pursue justice from a Jehovah's Witness sexual abuse lawsuit. So these guys have been around for 45 years. I don't work for them or anything. This was a link that was sent to us, I think on X, on Twitter. But I went over it all, and these guys did the $45 million lawsuit in Hawaii against Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were successful. They understand it, how it works. There's over 1,800 reports by more than 1,000 suspected abusers that have been documented. That's probably referring to the Australian Commission. So this goes to show that these lawyers are using lawsuits from around the world. And when Jehovah's Witnesses go to court, they use themselves around the world to try to fight. So it's only fair that the lawyers are using the lawsuits from around the world. when they fight Jehovah's Witnesses. And now with the Brumley thing all sanctioned and all out in the open, all registered, all these lawyers can now reference the Brumley case and show how Watchtower has been lying because of the two witness rule. They've been covering this up, and they have a secret database. So this is all coming out, folks. The walls are definitely falling in on the Watchtower. They talk about Michelle Henry, the former Pennsylvania Attorney General. She says the details of these crimes are sad and disturbing. These crimes, these hidden things within the Jehovah's Witness religion. She says facts which are made even more abhorrent because the defendants use their faith communities of their own families to gain access to the victims, Michelle Henry says. So to date, over $100 million has been paid out to survivors. And if you or your loved one has been harmed by a member of the religion, we may be able to help. That's what these guys are saying. They're saying that Jehovah's Witness sexual abuse settlements and verdicts. They talk about this 40 million sexual abuse verdict settlement in Hawaii in 2023. The Hawaiian Circuit Court awarded 40 million to a woman who was sexually abused at age 12, Jehovah's Witness elder. So it's happening, folks. It's happening. And it's public. 35 million Jehovah's Witness abuse lawsuit payout, the Montana jury. The 35 million. They're saying 35 million. The jurors found the Watchtower negligent, awarding 4 million for her injuries, 31 million in punitive damages. That's what happened in Montana. Of course, we all know what happened. Brumley lied. It all got thrown out, went to Supreme Court, and that's where this all fell apart for Watchtower. Brumley got exposed for his lying. He got sanctioned for $154,000. He had to pay it. He went all the way through to the Ninth Circuit of Appeals and was denied. So now it's public. Brumley is a liar. He vexatiously led the court along for 17 months, telling non-truths, stating that Watchtower has no business. They do no business in Montana. And we all know that Watchtower is pulling the strings. They're pulling the puppet strings all over the world. So this got settled out of court probably for even more than 35 million, but for sure for 35 million. And 28 million Jehovah's Witness abuse verdict. A California jury awarded 28 million to a woman. See, folks, these are not just little Catholic Church payouts for Catholic Church came to the table and said, look, we got a problem. Let's put a number to this. I think it was like under 500,000. It was like in the neighborhood of 300 and some thousand. And they were paying out claims left and right in the Catholic Church, even selling off dioceses to pay out these claims to get it all out of the way. Well, here Jehovah's Witnesses are fighting it tooth and nail, using Catholic lawyers, by the way, in Pennsylvania, and because they can't use Brumley anymore. So they are fighting this stuff. And as a result of fighting it and saying, no, we have nothing to do with it, we're fighting it, they're going to fight it all away. This is the kind of payouts, folks. 28 million. Huge payouts when you fight and lie. 35 million. Where's the other one? 40 million. These are not 300 and some $1,000 Catholic Church payouts. These are huge. This is going to bust this organization quick. Here's another one. 13.5 million awarded in a Jehovah's Witness case. Where is this one? This is a California court. 13.5 million to Jose Lopez. Yeah. He was assaulted at age 7. So this is all coming out, folks. San Diego Superior Court Judge Joanne Lewis called the Watchtower's actions. Watchtower, you're reprehensible and reckless. This ruling sends a strong message about institutional responsibility and shows that religious organizations can be held accountable for causing harm. So, folks, this is coming out. There's a hotline here, 888. I know up on this screen, I've been in it for a while. This kept coming up. Sako Love Law. Hello, we're sorry to barge in, but we're available to answer your questions. Would you like to speak to a live person now? Yes or no? I of course hit no, right? Because I don't want to. But I'm over here. The numbers here all the way down. This website wants to talk to you. This website wants your hand to be the writing on the wall. The handwriting's on the wall, folks. You have the hand. You know, if you're listening and you're a Jehovah's Witness or an ex-Jehovah's Witness and you've been abused, you are the hand. Now, these guys are going to help you write on the wall. That's what's going on here. The handwriting is on the wall all over the world, folks. All over the world. So here's what this one quote says. You realized it's not just a seed. It's not just a little personal thing. It's rooted all the way up to the headquarters. Jehovah's Witness abuse survivor. So many survivors remain silent out of fear, shame, or distrust, but coming forward can be a powerful step toward healing. And here again, folks, is another link. Our sexual abuse lawyers believe every survivor deserves justice. So it's a quick link there, and you can get into that. Now, the latest Jehovah's Witness abuse news, it's talking about all the stuff that's coming out in Pennsylvania. All the stuff that's coming out. We've been following the news on that. June 2025, Sean Sheffer. January 2025, David Balosa. We followed that. March 2025, Mark Brown from Pittsburgh was sentenced. June 2025, Jehovah's Witness elder, former elder, Norman Griga, he was convicted. July 2023. Folks, this is all new stuff. Just recently in the news, Pennsylvania's Attorney General charged 5 Jehovah's Witnesses. 2023. March 1997, the Watchtower instructed elders to report those accused of child sexual abuse to their headquarters by mailing a form in a special blue envelope. And the information was used to maintain a database of suspected abusers. So this is how, this is what's coming out. This is what Watchtower has done. Just mail it in and we'll keep a database of this. We'll handle it internally. We don't want this out in the news. Got to keep this quiet. Destroy all your records. Remember, folks, we ran video after video. Philadelphia News ran this, and how Watchtower went around instructing their people to shred records, get rid of the records, because we'll be held accountable. You see, if we're investigated, if you're investigated, there's no records. You know, a lot of times there's new elders, right? And they say, well, we got no records of this. We don't know about this, you see. And then try getting this stuff out of the blue envelope people in Watchtower headquarters. It's impossible. But folks, I don't think it's impossible. I think it's coming. The handwriting's on the wall. The cases that we're looking at, it's only a fraction of the abuse. It's only a fraction that's come out so far. This is just starting to happen. Who can file? You may be able to file a Jehovah's Witness sexual abuse case if you were sexually abused by a Jehovah's Witness elder, ministerial servant, congregation member, or someone in a position of trust within the organization. And thanks to recent legislation, many survivors can now take legal action even if the abuse happened decades ago. Now, in New York, for example, a survivor who was abused as a child can file a claim until they turn 55 years old. It's never too late to speak out. Survivors deserve justice no matter how much time has passed. So if too much time has passed, speak out. Get your story out there, online even. Now contact Sako Love Law now to see if you may be eligible, how the Watchtower handles abuse by Jehovah's Witnesses. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, they have come under intense scrutiny for its handling of child sex abuse allegations. Rather than protecting survivors, the organization has been accused of enforcing policies that prioritize secrecy and protect abusers. So they're on to you, Jehovah's Witnesses. They know exactly what's going on in those backroom elders meetings. And key internal practices that kept abuse hidden are internal databases. So they're, as we talked about, those blue envelopes, a judicial committee. So elders held closed doors disciplinary hearings where survivors were forced to confront their abusers face to face. You get that, folks? Some of the elders are pulling in the abuser and making the girl, in a lot of cases, a young girl, and you got 5 men in there, or you got 4 men, 3 elders, and the abuser, and she has to face them. What kind of psychological harm is that doing to that child? You see, they wanted to do that with my daughter, and I walked out. We walked out. But people are enduring this stuff, and it's messing them up. So these proceedings re-traumatize survivors and rarely led to consequences. So these judicial meetings are being scrutinized, folks, all over the world. The judicial meetings, if you were in a judicial meeting and you were traumatized, you may have a case. The 2-witness rule, you may have a case. Requires 2 eyewitnesses for everything, and that's how they throw everything out. That's how elders say, no, I didn't do that. That child's trying to frame me. And then they believe the elder, right? There's no psychological accounting. There's no take this elder in the back room like the police would do and interrogate them. Police know how to interrogate. They read eye movement. They can tell a lie within the first 30 seconds. They can tell a lie. So that's why, folks, it's so important to get this stuff to the right people, to the police. They're trained. These elders are skirting it. So the way that Jehovah's Witnesses handle matters within the congregation is a closed shop. And it goes on to say, I know for the fact now that there are parents that haven't done anything about the abuse of their children by others because they don't want to bring reproach on Jehovah's name. And this is what they blame it on, reproach on Jehovah's name. That's BS. Watchtower has brought reproach on God's name. They use it in a very despicable way, claiming to be his true servants on earth, and they do this. So many survivors were shamed or ignored while abusers stayed in the congregation, sometimes in leadership roles. So these internal practices are central to Jehovah's Witness sexual abuse case seeking accountability from the organization. So if you have a case like that where you tried to bring it forth and they silenced you and the elder, ministerial servant lied, stayed in power, you got a case. And steps to filing a lawsuit for Jehovah's Witness abuse. These guys say they understand how overwhelming it can be to come forward after experiencing sexual abuse, especially when it involves a trusted religious organization. And that's why we're here to take on the legal burden for you. That's what they're telling you. And they said, our Jehovah's Witness sexual abuse attorneys can, I thought this was good, provide a free case review to help you understand your legal options. So at least out the gate, you don't have to pay anything. They'll look at your case. That's what that tells me. They'll collect key evidence, medical records, witness statements. I know it gets deep if you have any of that. File your lawsuit against the abuser, the Jehovah's Witness organization, any individuals who enabled the abuse. They'll negotiate a Jehovah's Witness sexual abuse settlement with the defendants. They'll take your case to trial if necessary and fight for justice you deserve. And you don't have to go through this alone. We're here to support you every step of the way and make legal process as easy and stress-free as possible. Get help from our Jehovah's Witness sexual abuse lawyers for over 45 years. They've been giving you a voice where they say we've helped thousands of individuals across the country seek justice, securing more than $10 billion total for those harmed due to no fault of their own. Wow, $10 billion. So there's a lot of stuff, folks, that we don't see on the news. It's not public. Once NDAs are signed, non-disclosures, nothing's said. It doesn't hit the news. It's settled out of court. That's what these guys do. They settle. They'll take it to court if they have to, but 10 billion. That's not a small number. It's no wonder Watchtower's selling off kingdom halls left and right, and their numbers are diminishing. So they're saying, call us, fill out our form. Will they take your case on pro bono if it's a good case? Probably. You know, most of these guys know they can get compensation. They know the case. So the first step is you're the handwriting on the wall, folks. I went through we scrolled together through this whole legal thing that was sent to us on Twitter. Thanks very much, whoever's getting this stuff out. But who was that? Miss Usato. Thank you to Miss Usato for sending that over to us. So this is important that we talk about this stuff, and it's important that we act. We are the hand. And if we don't push our hand, there's no writing on the wall. To every ex-Jehovah's Witness watching this, if you have a story and there's legal support in your country, reach out. Speaking up isn't just justice, it's prophecy in motion. You are the handwriting on the wall. You are the message they can no longer hide from. Subscribe if you want to see the wall fall. Join us on Fixing My Faith or over at Cabin Life Unplugged. And if you want to support this work, you'll find the link in the description. Until next time, live your life with love. We'll see you on the next video.